Hey everyone, it's Derek with OPTP. Today, as part of our Feel Good Holiday Gift Series, we've got 5 great release techniques for the thoracic paraspinals. Now, this area is often referred to as the Erector Spinae, and it basically can be broken down into 3 groups: the iliocostalis, the longissimus, and the spinalis. This area is largely responsible for helping to stabilize the spine, but also helping produce movement like side bending and rotating. With tension, poor posture, overuse, underuse, this area can become tight and create pain not only in the back but also into the shoulders and even radiating into the chest. So through these release techniques, the goal is going to be to create some more thoracic extension, hopefully open up mobility in those upper extremities and throughout the trunk. Let's get started. Okay, so for each of these release techniques, I'm going to be using a single Propod release and stabilization tool. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my Propod and I'm going to position it on my mat to where it's going to be perpendicular to my spine. I'm going to lie supine. Now, what's really important to note to begin here when you're using your Propod is that you position it so that it is sort of right in between the bottom and top of your shoulder blades. This is where our spine is going to be most mobile. This is where we're going to start. Now, actually, as I'm laying back here, the first release technique is just going to be this passive release where I slowly let my spine, my body conform around that Propod. And this just this feels great right here. Now, some of you are going to want to have a pillow under your head. I'm going to choose not to use one here, but if you want to keep things more neutral, you can do that. I'm going to want to hold it for about 30 seconds as I just breathe and slowly let my spine come to relax. It's really important that you don't move into excessive extension here. That's going to want to be the tendency of your body, is to arch the back to make this a little less intense, but try to keep that spine nice and neutral. Let those shoulders fall to the floor and let that release take place. Now, again, once you've done this for about 30 seconds, the next thing that we would do, with an option here of either having the hands crossed at the chest or behind the head for a little bit more intensity, is we're gonna move into a flexion and extension position with some active release. So right here, I'm going to just do a slight contraction of my abdomen to bring my spine into slight flexion and then let myself lower down into extension. And as you can imagine here, what's happening is that Propod is now beginning to massage those paraspinals, along with some other areas of the back as well. And this just feels fantastic. I feel a great massage. The little protrusions of the Propod there are really creating a really nice massage effect. As I'm breathing, I would do this for about 30 seconds here. Now after that, I'm gonna drop my hands down, let my head come to rest again, either on the floor or on the pillow. Now we're gonna move into a little bit more intensity as I reach overhead here from the floor. So my hands are gonna start up top. As I reach overhead, I'm gonna be really mindful of not letting my back move into extension. Hands come all the way overhead, and then I'm gonna pull it back forward. Right here, now I'm mobilizing the scapula, really feeling that massage effect take place from those Propods. And this is just another great release technique to help really relieve tension and relax those paraspinals. Now next, after we've done the overhead reach for about 30 seconds, I'm gonna bring my arms back down. Now we're gonna create some cross-section massage of those thoracic paraspinals by engaging in a little bit of rotation. So again, Propod position right where it was before. I'm gonna pick which hand I wanna start with, and I'm just gonna reach to the opposite side and let my body rotate slightly. So I'm actually gonna come off the Propod a little bit, but as I come back is where I get that cross-section massage. And I'm just gonna do it the other side. Reach and back to center. Doesn't have to be any large movement either, just enough to produce a little bit of rotation to where you get that massage effect going across those muscles. And after we do this for about 30 seconds, really being mindful of our breathing and of our low back remaining neutral again, we're gonna bring it back to center. Now for our last technique here, this is a strategy you can employ during any of these exercises, and that's actually to move your lower extremities into this dead bug position. So hip flexion here is going to decrease the likelihood that we can move into excessive spinal extension. So if you can get your legs up here, if you can remain nice and stable, that's great. Now this position here, I would revisit those same exercises. So I would start with just my passive release. After my passive release, I could bring my hands behind the head or cross them at the chest and just do that little contract, relax again, where I'm really starting to create that mobility and that release. After that, I would again leave the lower extremities in place, reach overhead, really decreasing again the likelihood that I can move into extension. Then I would visit those rotations. And then to finish things off, if you want to get a little bit of core activation as well, this is another kind of favorite to engage in a little bit of abdominal work, is leave your body position right where it's at. Act like you're trying to drive your knees into your chest, but don't let them go anywhere, because you're going to create counter pressure with your hands and create that deep activation of the abdomen right here. So you can't see what I'm doing, obviously, because this is an isometric contraction, but I'm physically pulling my legs this way and pushing my hands this way as I create that deep abdominal activation, imprinting my low back into the mat, also while keeping that pressure against the Propod on the back to create that release. All right, everyone, thanks so much for watching. If you want to learn more about the Propods release and stabilization tools, which aren't only great for release techniques for all over the body, but also are great little tools for balance and stability, go to OPTP.com. And while you're there, don't forget to check out all the great feel-good gifts that we have on sale this holiday season. Again, OPTP.com is where to go. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.